All right, everybody, it's time to get empowered. All right. You see ahead of you, you've got that big block of wood. You're going to take your hand, you're going to chop through it. You're going to feel your power. Roar! Or alternatively, especially with the feminine power movements going on, it's like, all right, ladies, let's move and feel our pussy power. Let's feel our pleasure. Oh, we're empowered now. Lordy, lordy, lordy. Cindy Corey Ashton here. Welcome to Libération, Libération's Life. Libération is in French. I live in France. So what is Libération's Life? It is the art of learning how to liberate your voice, truly get heard from a deep, truthful place and connection without proving, pushing, or performing. So here's the thing. I am totally down for all these beautiful empowerment and feminine power things that are going on in terms of they do have those moments where it helps people to feel empowered. And I think that is awesome. But unfortunately, what I see with the majority of them is that they are quick fixes. It's like, let's put a band-aid on. Let's get you feeling all pleasurable. And then you go back to your life the next day, and then everything ends up being the same as it was before, or the next week, or whatever. Eventually it fades off. So the problem with this is that with you trying to get your voice heard, if you are always bypassing the deeper work, you will continue to show up with your voice, with your body language, your presence in ways that are unempowering or disempowering. You're going to be showing up and you're going to be like, oh, but I was so empowered last week. And listen, overall, life has its ways. We have days where we feel good. We have days where we don't feel good. But it's important to get to even the deeper level, because even when we do have the good and the bad days, if you want to label them that way, and I say that because it's life, it just is what it is. But if we want to get to the point where we're able to manage it more, it's about going deeper and being willing to be in the muck. So I always love to give this example of caterpillar soup. All right, so stay with me. So once upon a time, way back in the day, I worked part-time as an educational consultant. And I used to do these really amazing, I don't know if they were amazing, but I got nationally published for them, so I guess they were amazing. These amazing lesson plans that integrated like science with like singing and movement and all the fun stuff that me as a singer, actor, dancer does. And it was really cool because one of the lessons I had to teach was about the 4 stages. This was clearly primary school I was doing consulting work for, but I had to do the 4 stages of the butterfly. And here's the thing, the butterfly, it starts out right as a little larvae, and then it goes into the caterpillar, and then it goes into the chrysalis. And the chrysalis is what we, with the little kindergartens, the grade ones would call the caterpillar soup. And the kids go, ew, it's all gooey and gooey. But it's caterpillar soup, and you have to stay in the caterpillar soup for as long as you need to stay in that caterpillar soup. In the larvae, or sorry, in the chrysalis. You have to stay there for as long as it takes until you go through the transformation. And it's not fun what happens in that chrysalis. It's just not. All of a sudden, you've got this caterpillar that's turning into all this goo, and then slowly each of the wings and then you got to come out of the goo, and you come out as goo, like, babies come out of their mamas, like, and it's gross, and then they have to like slowly flap their little butterfly wings until they can finally get them, because because they're all wet and they can't fly until they're dry. And so how does this relate to you? So this is the piece where it's important, is that for you to get your voice heard, it is the willingness. It is a willingness to be in the chrysalis stage, the caterpillar soup, and be in the muck of it. And if we are always going like to these things where it's like, rah, 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 get in our power, but we're not actually going into the caterpillar soup and just being in it, it's going to be really hard for us to hear the truth of our soul, the truth of our soul, the truth of our power, because that is our power. We have all the knowing within ourselves. And when we are able to access that truth, that knowing, then you know what your message is. Then you know what you want to communicate. Then you know what you want to put out in the world. And let me tell you, with a world as dysfunctional and insane as it is, breaking apart because a new world is coming, which is the new world of humanity, all of us realizing that we need to work together, people. We need to work together as communities to rebuild where there's equality for all. This is where the world is going. Old school tactics are not going to work. I mean, in the empowerment space, it's always like, all right, if you're a winner, you're going to do this. Or it's like, oh, I'm being authentic. And it's like all this bullshit. Like, I'm being authentic. And, we just have to like surrender to the authenticity without, again, being willing to go to the caterpillar soup. So, for you to truly liberate your voice, liberation comes from that freedom of being willing to be in the muck. I'm going to give you an example. When I left the United States, October of 2023, so I'm Canadian born, lived in the US for 15 years, and then I moved to France. I have to tell you, I left the US. There was a lot in the US that was definitely working for me. I had an amazing career, I had amazing friends, but health wise, I was sick all the time. And there were other things that I was seeing that were coming that didn't feel like I wanted to be part of. Only they're way worse than I thought they were going to be. Sorry to all my beautiful American friends that you're dealing with all this nonsense. But this, when I left America, I didn't realize that almost nothing in my life was working. And it took me 2 years to sort through all that stuff. And it was really tough on my soul because here I am, this high achiever, have done, red carpets, interviewing celebrities on the Oscars and award winning this and star of Times Square Fashion Week. And like, and I've got nothing, lost it all. And it was really hard to sit in that. But I'm like, I was determined, determined, determined. And I have to tell you that it was really tough, but I'm on the other side of it now. It doesn't mean more stuff won't come up in other ways, but I just want to tell you that as tough as that was, it was the most liberating thing I've ever done in my life for myself because I'm the most centered and the most aligned and truly expressing from who I am today and what works for me and what works for the world and how I want to serve. So, what's the invitation today? Well, there is no invitation. I guess you can just breathe on it. You can feel into it. Ask yourself if if you're willing to sit in the muck a little bit longer and get support and get community around you. If you are looking for a community, then we do have our Liberassance or Liberescence community, where we gather beautiful other like-minded souls who want to build their voices, hear their voices, get trained to use their voices, connect with themselves. If you're interested, just go to liberescencelife.com. In the meantime, I'm sending you so much love and so much goodness. Namaste.